Here, Bubba. Today is an exciting day. You know why?
Tomorrow's opening morning.
Tomorrow is opening morning of deer season for archery here in PA. And that means we have a long day today of getting ready. So what are we gonna do? First, we're going to try to dry my clothes off. Let me see this. Clothes are all wet. We have a few things to do today so that we up our chances for tomorrow's hunt to be successful. The first thing we're gonna go do is check our Moultrie game cameras. We're gonna go check all the spots on the property where we've put up the cameras, come back to the house and see where the action is for the morning and the evening. Once we know what our best possible spots are, it's time to set up our stands. Because we're both gonna go in the morning, I wanna have a stand with 2 seats on it, ready to go. The final thing we have to do today is get all our clothes dried, ready, all our gear all set, and be prepped to go. This will probably take us all day, so let's get started because tomorrow's coming.
Yep.
And we want to put some venison in the freezer on day 1. That would be perfect. Yep. Let's go.
Did you smell the bird?
Here's a little tip. When you go and check your game cameras during deer season, you do not want to scare deer from that spot. So go with 2 things. A pair of binos. That way as you're approaching your camera, you can take a quick peek and make sure that no deer are there. The other thing you need, a pair of rubber boots. Rubber boots are better for scent control. As you walk to check your cameras, you don't want to leave a lot of scent because that'll keep the deer from going back there. So we're going to sneak in rubber boots, sneak out in rubber boots. Right back. This is new. That tree looks like it just came down. Yeah, that tree just came down. I got a card right over here, and now this road is blocked. Interesting. All right, well, let me check my card. Okay, so when you go to check your cards, going real quiet. I leave the gator running to kind of mask my sound, and you try not to touch a lot of the bushes. This here behind me, this hill, is a transition. This time of day they're not here, they're bedded down elsewhere, but early in the morning they walk through here and late through the evening. I have a tree stand down through there. Can hardly see it, I'll zoom in. It's back in there somewhere. It's only a single tree stand, but I could put a hang-on stand right next to it, and then me and my son could hunt there in the morning. If I see on this card deer moving through here in the morning, this is a possibility. The only hard part is getting in here. There's a ton of acorns dropping here, and I can see they've been chewed. This is a possibility for tomorrow morning if we can get in here. field edge. I have a big double tree stand already set up there that we can hunt out of. And we noticed there's a tree back there with a buck rub on it. So we'll check this camera and see if the big buck's coming through. If Prince is coming through, we might hunt here tomorrow morning if the wind is right. If not, we'll wait for another day. If you notice, that track is splayed. A lot of times bigger deer will have that splayed track versus the pointy track like this one. This is really muddy here. So it's hard to tell how big a deer is when it's putting tracks in the mud, but we can kind of compare them to the others. There's definitely a big deer walking through here. I don't know if it's a big buck, but it's definitely a big deer. Let's go check the other card. Here, bud. All right, we are back inside and we're gonna check these cards. Is there a train running through our house? And we're gonna formulate a plan. 3 stands, 3 cards to check. Which one do you wanna do first?
That one.
B?
That's nice though.
6 p.m., so that's evening doe.
There. 6 p.m., 100 p.m.
Is that our morning spot? The third field, we have seen only afternoon and evening deer in the last few days. There have been no morning deer. So tomorrow morning we are not going to hunt the third field because the deer aren't there. The game camera is right there showing us the traffic and it looks like there's nothing there. So, next card.
Wait. Glad I picked this.
Ooh, what's that? Raccoons?
Raccoons.
Raccoon, raccoon, raccoon.
Big raccoon, big raccoon, big raccoon.
Another raccoon. That's a big raccoon. That's like a bear-coon.
A bear-coon.
Not one deer yet. My goodness.
Raccoons everywhere.
We're not gonna hunt here at all on Saturday morning. Probably too much activity with
raccoons.
It's like a raccoon army.
What's that?
Dun dun dun. We go in to eat all the victims. So many raccoons. Look at that! There's an army of raccoons assaulting our property. Marching through the woods is the army of raccoons. We will kill every chicken we find. Oh yes. Not one deer.
All raccoons and possums and birds and chippies and squirrels.
All right, this is not looking like we're gonna hunt here on Saturday. The day before opening day, and this is the worst game camera haul yet. Not sure what we're gonna do yet. Gotta think about it. Don't know. Don't know yet. But it doesn't mean, just because you don't get deer on the cameras doesn't mean they're not there. They could walk, you know, a little bit ways to the side of either camera and you wouldn't catch them. But it is a bit of a bummer because we were getting really good pictures for a solid month or so. And now the deer have seemed to disappear. So we'll figure out where they're at. And until then, we may go, I'm not sure what we're gonna do yet.
What do you want to get tomorrow? Doe, buck, doe?
Oh man, I would take a nice buck tomorrow, but I'm happy for a doe too. I would love to get an opening day doe. We looked at the game camera cards and there is very little deer activity here on the property. This is one of the reasons I like to run game cameras, because I got tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening, and I really would like to get a deer early in the season. So instead of wasting my time here on the property, there's a lot going on right now with my in-laws building their house. There's a lot of machines and a lot of noise. That could be spooking the deer off, more so than there was a week or so ago. There's also a full moon, which when the full moon is happening, or an almost full moon, that affects their eating patterns too. Whatever the case, we're not seeing anything like the traffic we were 2 or 3 weeks ago. So instead of sitting out in the woods tomorrow not seeing anything here and wondering if we could have done better somewhere else, we're gonna go somewhere else. Okay, here it's a little hard to tell what I'm doing with this camera, the way I filmed it with the GoPro. So I'm just gonna narrate so you guys know what's going on here, because this is pretty important, especially if you're hunting with your children, but anytime you're out hunting, you should be tethered to a tree. What I'm using here, Summit was kind enough to send us their 30-foot long safety line with dual prusik knots. Okay, so that's a bit of a mouthful. Let me just explain how it works, what it does, and why you need one. Basically, this rope goes around the top of our tree at the top where our tree stand is. Now you can see that little part that slides there, that's the prusik knot that you attach your tree harness to. And the beautiful part about this thing is that now you can slide it up and down that safety rope as you climb up or down the ladder. That means you're always attached to your safety line. Should you fall out of the tree, you're always going to be safely caught. So as you're ascending and descending, you're safe the whole time, which is super important for all you hunters out there, and especially when you take your kids with you. But really, every time you go hunting, you should be tethered. So I'm gonna put a link right here or down below, wherever you see the link, for that 30-foot rope with the dual prusik knots. It's an amazing product. It saves lives, and it might save yours, or even more importantly, your child's one day. So don't skimp when it comes to safety in the tree stand. A link below for that product. Now the next thing I'm doing here, which I also didn't narrate while I was doing it, is installing our RSX Raptor tree stand. So the way this works, there's a little talon bracket that goes around the tree. You see I just lift that tree stand up there and I click it into the bracket, and now that nice comfy tree stand is ready for my son to sit in. And at the end of the day, I can take this tree stand out of the bracket, bring it back home, and put it up in a different bracket in a different tree. This is going to work really well because a lot of spots in these properties I already have ladder stands like this one, but they're only a single seat, and now I can take this really comfy nice tree stand all over the farm with me and just have different brackets waiting for it where I can clip it in. There's a great angle adjuster on the bottom of these tree stands because the different trees will be different angles, so make sure the tree stand is nice and level for me or my kids, whoever are on it. I just make a small adjustment here and get the angle correct, and that way the tree stand sits nice and flat and it's comfortable and it's safe. This setup, I'm really excited to get my kids out this year with this setup. Thank you so much to Summit Stands for the comfortable, safe tree stands, and of course the safety gear and the harnesses you see us using. I'll have links below for all this stuff, and if you're looking for good quality equipment, you can't go wrong with the Summit stand. Once again, pay attention to the safety line. You'll notice I'm sliding that prusik knot down as I climb down. If I were to slip and fall, the tension of my body pulling on the prusik knot would tighten it and it would stop me from falling any further. Now as I climb up with my son, we slide the prusik knot up ahead of us, so if again we were to slip and fall off of the ladder, that prusik knot would tighten and it would stop our fall dead in its tracks, and we would be safe and able to finish climbing up or head home. Don't skimp when it comes to safety in your tree stand, and always make sure you're attached to the tree going up and going down.
What'd you say? You want to sit and watch? I don't mind that at all. You want the binos? You know, tomorrow we'll have the tree arm right here in front of you, and you'll be filming with the tree arm. The deer come from over there usually. You'll film them. And we'll have
There.
Shh, shh, shh. Quiet. It hurts. There you go. Look. Okay, look at it. Hold up the binos. It's going into the trees. See it? You can see it. It's back there now. Oh, they're behind us. Yeah. It's coming towards us. It's a little more. See it? I can't wait for tomorrow.
Me too.
Whew. Oh, we just finished hiking out of the woods. Wow. Thanks for starting the car, bud. We got a lot done. We put up, that hair's amazing. You buckled up?
Yep.
So we just finished, so we set up one tree stand. Tomorrow we're supposed to get a western wind. If it's a western wind, we will be in business. If we show up here, sometimes the weather report's wrong and the wind is wrong, and then you wind up sitting in the stand and ruining things. So instead of doing that, we set up ground blind, which our camera battery died, so we couldn't film it. But we set up a ground blind, and that will be our option. If there's an eastern wind, a more southern wind, we can use that. We're on the road now, I gotta go. It is nighttime. That's what we're working with here. Got a whole lot of stuff. I'm gonna go to bed, I'm so tired. We had a long day today. I'm gonna wake up at 4 a.m. I'm gonna organize all this stuff, pack it all, and we will be off for opening day. So we'll see you in tomorrow's video, which will be opening day. Tomorrow morning, my son and I get up in the tree stand, and it's deja vu. The same deer out of the same spot. Do we get a shot off? Is fresh venison on the menu? Leave a guess in the comments below and tune in tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Time to see if your guess is right. If you're looking for that safety rope to use on your own tree stands, or are interested in purchasing a Summit tree stand, click right on that link right there. And if you want to learn more about hunting, check out our hunting playlist.